All right, happy Sunday, August 28th, 2022. Crude oil. Looking at the weekly chart, technicals are still bearish. You have 2 weeks without the red dot printing, which just means this technically is fired to the downside, and we are in a bounce. All last week we were in a bounce. We've been rattling around for 3 weeks in this range. But the technicals are bearish, right? The RSI is bearish, the MACD is bearish. As far as structure goes, as long as this doesn't break out and get above this pivot, then in terms of structure, which is really what Elliott Wave is so good at, if this respects this structure, then the door remains open to these much lower levels, some of which could be surprising, especially if it extends. I think that would surprise a lot of folks, especially the fundamental guys. But just based on structure, it is possible that this bounce comes up and gets into this pivot. I mean, anything's possible, right? But that's what I'm looking at, is if you get above 95.76, I think it's more likely that you're going to get a $4 move. I mean, it's not going to be easy. It never is, because it just doesn't move in a straight line. It's just, it could be all over the place and moving in threes and stuff, but just my sense and my thoughts, having watched this structure on the weekly, is that if it gets above 95.76, it can get up into this pivot, which, if it goes $4, that would not be surprised at all. Just say $3 to $4 to the upside, but I would still consider that a bounce, just because anyway, we'll talk about more of that in a second when I drill down. So weekly is bearish. This is the structure. That's the pivot. If it holds the pivot, it leaves the door open to downside. Daily, a little bit more specific, the daily 21, we finally got a couple of candles that printed entirely above the 21 EMA, which a lot of people look at for a clue. And it's kind of back tested it now, and price is more or less just above the 21 EMA. So what is it doing? Who knows? But it popped above it and then back tested it, and it, it's just kind of chopping around. What's interesting is we've come up into a daily squeeze, a legit daily squeeze. So it's setting up for a move. I mean, it could come higher. Maybe this squeeze is going to fire to the long side, which, would make sense. This could come up. Let's put on the Bollingers and see where. Oh wow, yeah. So this is building some pressure in here. See how they're both hooking now, and price is kind of consolidating in here. The Keltner's kind of leveled off, going sideways. So if this bounced, as I was just saying, to 100, anything's possible. Could it bounce? Sure it could. So this squeeze would fire to the long side. That could easily give you $4 to the upside. The RSI is no longer embedded. The MACD is kind of finished coiling, is released in a bullish manner. Price is bounced off that lower Bollinger, got above the 21, is back testing it now. So this allows for what I was just saying about the weekly, that you could just still be in a bounce, and if the daily fires to the long side, that could certainly give you $4 easily. And it's also true, we'll get to that in a second when I drill down to the next level time frame, that if this is a three-wave move, I mean, it's possible that it's over, and you would just get a day or two of sideways chop and nothingness, and then this fires to the downside, and then we just continue the downside pattern here, albeit from the top Bollinger Band, which hasn't happened in a while. Got to go back to really the beginning of June to see price interacting with the top Bollinger Band. So the daily is a little bit more complex, but I would just say it allows for a higher bounce. And I'll be watching the daily squeeze early in the week just to see how that develops. And then you drill down a little bit more to the 4 hour, and this is, you count this however you like, but it's 3 waves up right into the 618. So could that be it? Sure. Could it also just be a wave 4, and then we're going to get one more 5, and this is really a C wave? Yes. Yep. And price has memory, and what I love about these kind of levels is, I put these on there long ago, and it's wild how often the fibs still line up with a price level that's months old. Price has memory. So that's why sometimes I'll take the fibs off to keep my chart a little clean, but I'll extend the zone over. Like maybe this was a past pivot zone or some other kind of resistance or support level. Price remembers these things. So in any case, the 4 hour, it's 3 up. But this is holding where I've got this upside pivot. So can price come up into here? Like if it's completing a 5-wave structure as a C wave, well, isn't it interesting? Right into 100, which is what we were just saying based on the structure of the weekly. That would make sense. So even all the way down on the 4 hour, it shows you that that's possible. If this is somehow like maybe this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1, and this is 1, 2, 3 for wave 2, and this comes up almost to the 1618 for wave 3, and then this is a little deep, whatever, for 4. Actually, I guess that's a diagonal then, because it got below the top of wave 1. So this could be some kind of a diagonal based on LA wave rules, which say if wave 4 gets below the top of wave 1, then it's a diagonal, which means just expect whipsaw and it's nasty and hard to trade. Yeah. So, and by the way, I have barely been trading this. I've stopped out here on my longs. I was long over here. I got stopped out on 2 different occasions. Once for 38 cents, and the second time it was worse. I forget now exactly what it was, but I rarely trade for more than, I mean, like a super wide stop for me is like 60 cents. That would be crazy wide, but usually it's more like 10 to 30 cents is my stops using Strat. Anyway, so 3 up. Can you get a 5th up into this resistance? That'd make perfect sense. As a leading diagonal, though, which makes it less reliable. So I'm just saying a bunch of nothing here, I realize. So and then we'll just go down one more level just to really dial in. And, you know, without even taking measurements on this chart, I had 101.51 as considerable resistance. So if this is 3 up, you know, you're going to know if it's going to keep going, because the first thing it's going to do is take out 95.74, which 95.74, yeah, that's the top of the candle, the last week's high. So yeah, that's the first clue. All we're doing is looking at clues. So that's the first clue. If it can get above there, then maybe you're on your way for 5 up. And maybe where that would terminate would be up here. And then I will be trying a short trade for sure. No doubt. The best trades that I make are at extremes. The problem is extremes happen when I'm not watching. I'm not like, you know, this extreme, I just wasn't able to be on the screen here. I got stopped out twice. I would have tried to go long had I been on the screen down here, just because to me that was an extreme. My best trades are taken at extremes, but you got to just kind of be lucky to be on screen at that time when an extreme is happening. So I'm flat. I'm not doing anything, but I will, if it makes it up into this region, I will be shorting. I will be attempting a short. So that's all I got. All right, guys. Good luck. See ya.